On today's episode, we are following up from part 1, aesthetic biohacking. In last week's episode, you guys heard the foundation of what aesthetic biohacking is, and I also gave you a little sneak peek into my treatment protocols for biohacking aesthetics. And on today's episode, we are going to go over treatment protocol number 1, and that is how to supercharge your Botox treatment. Hi guys, welcome to the Perfect Dose podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kristen Herzog, board certified nurse practitioner and injection specialist. On today's episode, we are following up from part 1, aesthetic biohacking. In last week's episode, you guys heard the foundation of what aesthetic biohacking is, and I also gave you a little sneak peek into my treatment protocols for biohacking aesthetics. And on today's episode, we are going to go over treatment protocol number 1, and that is how to supercharge your Botox treatment. So, how do we supercharge our Botox treatments? We add SkinVeve. SkinVeve is the newest player in the Allergan portfolio. It is not a dermal filler, but it is a skin booster. So what does that mean? Well, traditionally, dermal fillers are going to add volume to your face. SkinVeve isn't classified as a filler because it's not going to add any volume to your face. What it's going to do is it's going to improve the quality of your skin. It's going to make your skin look smoother. It's going to make your skin look more glowy. Your skin is going to look more hydrated. Your pores will look smaller. Your wrinkles will diminish. You also will look like the texture of your skin is just firm and glowy. So it's improving the entire quality of your skin. Now, why I love SkinVeve is because the quality of our skin, you guys, is so important. And getting this injectable is going to biohack aesthetics and supercharge your Botox by improving not just the upper face, but the lower face. And what I mean by that is when you get Botox, traditionally you're treating the 3 FDA approved areas, which are your frown lines, your forehead, and your crow's feet. But nobody's doing anything about the lower face. Well, adding SkinVeve is going to make everything match. So when you get Botox, it relaxes the muscle, but you get this sort of glow and refreshed appearance. If you have this glowy, refreshed appearance above your nose and the lower half of your face looks dull, you're going to look unnatural. So we are adding SkinVeve to every single Botox appointment. Now, we aren't the first ones to do this, you guys. It's actually been being done for a long time, just not in the United States. SkinVeve is being used in Europe, and it's been being used for years. It's used as a product called Volite, and in Europe, that's what they're doing. They're adding SkinVeve to all their Botox appointments. I actually, when SkinVeve launched in the US, I went to the training and I spoke to one of the doctors that had been using SkinVeve for years and years. He's a top provider in Turkey. And he was like, none of my Botox patients get Botox without SkinVeve. And so I came back to my practice and I was like, oh my gosh, why have I been treating Botox in the upper face and doing nothing for the bottom half? So now it's my protocol. If you get Botox in my office, you also get SkinVeve. Now, I want to break down SkinVeve for you guys so you understand exactly what it is, which is a skin booster, an internal hydrator. But how does it work? So how it works is it actually stimulates something called aquaporin 3. And aquaporin 3 is made in our body. And what aquaporin 3 does, it's a protein. And what it does is it actually increases the hydration in our skin. So the more abundant aquaporin 3 is, the more hydrated our skin looks and is. As we age, we lose aquaporin 3. Just like as we age, we lose collagen. It's really sad. Nothing goes up with age. Everything seems to go down. The only thing that goes up is the number. So aquaporin 3 is the core of hydration. And when our skin is hydrated, our skin looks better. It looks smoother. It looks more youthful. It looks more glowy and more refreshed. And in fact, market research shows that when patients and people are looking in the mirror, they're not noticing volume loss in their face as much as they're noticing that the quality of their skin has dramatically changed. So that's why improving and addressing skin quality is so important. And prior to SkinVeve, all we could do was topically treat skin quality. We could do lasers to make you younger, which I love my lasers, so I'm not discounting those. And then we had fillers, which could make us look more hydrated and youthful, but it didn't actually create real change underneath the skin. Now enter SkinVeve, and we can actually create hydration. We can actually biohack aesthetics and make our skin not only look younger, but we can make our skin actually younger, which is so important. So how is SkinVeve injected? SkinVeve is injected by little micro droplets in the skin. So if you picture a Botox needle, it's gonna be very similar to that. And teeny little micro droplets are injected in the areas that are being treated. Now, the FDA approved areas are the cheek wrinkles. Now, FDA approved areas just means those are the areas that the FDA has tried and treated, but that doesn't mean we can't treat other areas. We treat other areas when they are deemed necessary, appropriate, and beneficial for the patient. So areas that I love to treat with SkinVeve are in the neck. I love treating the smile lines. I use SkinVeve in the hands. It's an absolutely amazing product. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, okay, teeny little micro droplets, how many injections are there and does it hurt? So the amount of injections really depends on the treatment area and it depends on your anatomy. So if we're injecting you for prevention, so let's say you're 20 and you're like, I just want my skin to look better, we're probably going to do bigger injections. So you're going to have less injections with a bigger amount. If you, for example, come in and you have smile lines, some texture, and areas that we're trying to improve, we're probably going to do a series of smaller injections with smaller amounts in order to treat your area appropriately. Now, it doesn't hurt. I know what you guys are thinking, so many injections on your face probably hurts. But what we do is we make this as comfortable as possible. So first off, you're going to be topically numbed. And topical numbing means we are going to actually put numbing cream on the treatment area, and it's going to sit on your face for about 10 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to start injecting. Now, what makes this treatment so comfortable and not as painful is that not only do you get topically numbed, but there's lidocaine in the product. So that means as we inject you, your skin is going to get even more numb, which is huge. Another really important factor is not only is there lidocaine topically applied, and lidocaine being applied while injecting because it's in the filler, but we're also changing out our needles. So if you can imagine using the same needle over and over and over again, it's gonna start to hurt because the tip of the needle gets dull. So what we do is we switch out our needle every 1 to 2 pokes, so that way the needle stays sharp and fresh and it becomes less painful. So how long does SkinVeve last? Well, SkinVeve is going to last around 6 to 9 months. My treatment protocol in my practice is every other Botox appointment, we will add SkinVeve. So typically, you're gonna get Botox once every 3 months, and then you'll get SkinVeve once every 6 months. Now, that's just how long the longest study went in the trials. So that's why I have a gauge of 6 to 9 months because SkinVeve could be lasting longer. We actually did a punch biopsy in the study, and this is really cool. I love to nerd out, so I'm gonna explain this to you guys. But a punch biopsy is where they actually take a sample of tissue, and they did the punch biopsies on patients' arms. They didn't do it on their face. Imagine volunteering for a trial and being like, sure, I volunteer. Please take a biopsy of my face. Like, no. So instead, they took punch biopsies on arms, and they actually found aquaporin 3. They found this tissue that was looking younger, and even at 6 months, 80% of patients were happy, and you could actually see that there was still aquaporin 3. So it doesn't mean your SkinVeve is gone at 6 months. It just means that you're gonna see its peak effects, meaning your skin is going to look the best after treatment for a duration of 6 months. What's really great with SkinVeve is it actually works really fast too. So that's something that's really cool is once it's injected, some people feel like they see something immediate, but according to the studies, you will start to see results a week after treatment, and then your full results will peak at 4 weeks. And that's just really cool because it shows you guys that this product is actually making you younger, because if we were to see a result immediately and you had your full result right away, then we wouldn't be creating change in the skin. So this just shows that change is happening in the skin. Aquaporin 3 is being made, and our skin is actually getting younger with this treatment, which is really, really awesome. So the results are going to peak at 6 months, or peak for a duration of 6 months. You will look your best at 4 weeks, but you will start to see results at 1 week. And it's really great because we're changing the needle so frequently, and because we're doing teeny little micro droplets in the skin, it's actually a treatment that has very minimal downtime with very minimal bruising. So that's something to think about. I always prepare my patients instance, like I may be treating you for 5 years and today could be the day that I bruise you. But most likely it will be extremely minimal downtime after a SkinVeve treatment because we're doing such small superficial injections and we're changing out our needle frequently. Now, I can't just talk about the benefits of a product without talking about what can go wrong. And I think this is very important because for those of you on TikTok and on Instagram, you've probably seen things that are like, oh my gosh, SkinVeve leaves these little grid marks all over your face, little dots that you can see that don't go away. Well, that only happens when it is injected too superficially. So just like any product on the market, you guys, and you can look at this with any product, literally, what happens is we have to learn a product's personality. We have to know, how does this product behave? How does it look in the tissue? How long does it last? We have to study it. And what we discovered is that if SkinVeve is injected too superficially, you will actually see bumps. So what we learned is that we need to inject SkinVeve slightly deeper. So in the deep dermis, which is one of the deeper layers of your skin. So when it's being injected, you may see a bump, but if you press on it, it'll go away immediately. And that's how you know that you were injected in the right depth. So when it's injected in a proper depth, it will have very minimal complications. There's always a risk of vascular occlusion anytime you are getting injected with something. And what that means is there's a risk that it goes into the artery. But again, with proper depth, this risk is very, very minimal. And this just highlights why it's important to go to an experienced provider that understands anatomy. Not just anybody should be injecting your face, you guys. There's things that can go wrong. And I talked about this in previous podcast episodes about how to choose an injector. So if you're new here, I encourage you to go back and listen. But it is very, very important to choose the right injector so that minimal complications occur. And if something does happen, we have the proper tools on hand to dissolve it, because this is, although it's not a traditional filler that adds volume, it is made of hyaluronic acid, so it can be dissolved with the filler reversal. So I want to end with a fun fact that I learned when I was doing some research on SkinVeve prior to its launch. I was one of the first injectors in Arizona to use SkinVeve, and I am one of the top injectors of SkinVeve in the state. I use it all day, every day. I don't have complications with SkinVeve. In fact, my patients are obsessed with it and they love it. And a fun fact, as I was doing research about this product, because I like to know everything about a product before I just start injecting it on people, is that the first two things that somebody notices on a person's face is their teeth and their skin. And I was like, oh my gosh, how crazy, because that's so true. You look at somebody's skin and you look at their teeth. So keeping that in mind, this just highlights how important it is to address our skin quality. Skin quality is everything. It's the first thing that patients are seeing. It's the first things that we see on ourselves and that other people notice. So you need to make sure that you are supercharging your Botox with SkinVeve and that you are biohacking aesthetics. So please tune in on the next episodes. They are going to be really fun. Thanks for tuning in on today's episode. My name is Dr. Kristen Herzog. Follow me on Instagram at The Perfect Dose. I will see you all next week.